This is a challenging slate to break down. It's usually simple to talk about 3 games, but we have so many superstars that it makes things difficult. You can usually only fit 2 superstars into your lineup, but picking the right ones will be tough.
I don't remember seeing many 3-game slates with this much intrigue, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Core plays Domantas Sabonis, C. Sack. $10,100 DraftKings, $10,100 FanDuel. Not enough people are talking about how dominant Sabonis has been recently. The superstar center has been posting Nikola Jokic-like lines, averaging 21.2 points, 13.5
rebounds, and 8.5 assists since December 1st. He's also averaging nearly 55 DraftKings points per game in that span and shouldn't have any issues against Phoenix. He's averaging 53 fantasy points per game in their 2 matchups this year. Devin Booker, PG, SG. PHX, $9,100 DraftKings, $9,800 FanDuel. We weren't sure who the Suns' starting point guard would be this season, but DB has filled that role perfectly.
The All-Star has scored at least 38 DraftKings points in all but 3 fixtures, posting a 49-point average for the year. Squaring off with Sacramento is superb, too, with the Kings sitting 21st in total defense.
Book is averaging 51 fantasy points per game against them in their 6 matchups since the start of last season. Cash game considerations: Nikola Jokic, C. Den, $11,500 DraftKings, $11,700 FanDuel. The Joker is always one of the safest cash game options on every slate, but he's impossible to avoid on a 3-game card.
The 2-time MVP is one of the league leaders with 60 DraftKings points per game. He's also established a 40-point floor over the last 3 years and is the safest bet for 50 to 60 DK points on every slate.
Facing Philly can be fearful for most, but Joker had 25 points, 17 rebounds, and 12 assists en route to 73 DK points in their most recent matchup. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, PG, SG. OKC, $10,400 DraftKings, $11,400 FanDuel. Most people assume that Jokic or Joel Embiid will win MVP, but don't forget about SGA.
The OKC guard is averaging 55 DraftKings points per game and has surpassed 45 DK points in all but 1 game all season. He's also got at least 55 fantasy points in 11 of his last 14 outings, despite dealing with numerous blowouts in that span.
We don't expect that to happen here because he gets a revenge game against the Clippers. LA is one of the hottest teams in the NBA, but Gilgeous has had at least 44 DK points in all 5 meetings since the start of last season, dropping 59 DK points against them earlier in the year.
GPP targets Michael Porter Jr., SFPF, Den, $6,600 DraftKings, $6,700 FanDuel. Porter is a volatile player because of his shooting, but he's amidst a career year in Denver. MPJ is averaging 34 DraftKings points per game, entering this matchup, scoring 52 and 40 DK points in his 2 most recent outings.
That's the upside you're looking for from a GPP option, especially since Porter remains affordable in this $7,000 price range. We don't like the matchup with the Sixers, but MPJ should play monster minutes in one of the showcase games of the season.
Keegan Murray, PF, Sack, $6,300 DraftKings, $6,600 FanDuel. Porter and Murray are similar players because these power forwards love hanging out at the 3-point line. That's why they're all over the map regarding consistency, but this youngster has flashed some significant upside.
In fact, Keegan is averaging 30 DraftKings points per game, showcasing a 70-point upside. He's also scored at least 36 fantasy points in 5 of his last 7 outings and should be utilized heavily against a 17th-ranked Phoenix defense.
Value plays Josh Giddey, PG, SG. OKC. $6,800 DraftKings, $7,100 FanDuel. Giddey has struggled in December, but he is starting to recapture the form that made him a fantasy darling last season. The Aussie has scored at least 29 DraftKings points in 7 of his previous 9 games, posting a 34-point average in that span.
He's back to the stat stuffing that made him a stud last season, and he should get a quality matchup since Kawhi Leonard and Paul George will be locked into SGA and Jalen Williams. Daniel Theis, PFC. LAC, $4,400 DraftKings, $4,400 FanDuel. We actually had Zubik ready to go as one of our recommendations, but his injury had us pivoting to Theis.
The backup big man should start at center in his absence and is likely looking at 25 to 30 minutes in this expanded role. We've seen Theis play at a $7,000 level in that type of role in the past, averaging 24 DK points per game in the 10 outings he's played, at least 20 minutes this year.
He's the best value out there and needs to be in everyone's lineup. Advantageous pricing. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, PG, SG. OKC, $10,400 DraftKings, $11,400 FanDuel. Devin Booker, PG, SG. PHX, $9,100 DraftKings, $9,800 FanDuel. Joel Embiid, C. Fi, $11,400 DraftKings, $12,200 FanDuel. Reggie Jackson, PG. Den, $3,900 DraftKings, $5,300 FanDuel. Russell Westbrook, PG. LAC, $5,900 DraftKings, $6,900 FanDuel.